Guess what, babes? Today we're talking about how to master the selfie. Here we go. Okay, so number one is location. It's super important to have this mapped out before you plan to take your selfie. Don't just wander around with your phone and hope and pray that you find a good location. Know where you're gonna shoot. It's so hot. Number two is lighting. Lighting is the most important tip I can give you when it comes to taking your own selfies and mastering them. Lighting is imperative because with bad lighting, it doesn't matter what outfit you're wearing, what angle you're taking it out, it's not gonna be good because the lighting is bad. So for instance, this lighting, not good because you have a window source in the background which is blowing out the background. If I change a little bit and I move here, the lighting gets better. It's not 100% yet, but the lighting is I'm shadowed here and I'm a little lighter here, which is good. We want depth. But if we do this, the lighting becomes amazing and then my eyes are really popping, bright blue, and I'm like, hey guys, what's up? This is the perfect lighting, directly in front of a window. So this is the best lighting because the window is behind the camera, so it's facing me. That way that beautiful dreamy sunlight comes in. It's really making my skin look really nice. I don't look like I have bags under my eyes. My eyes are popping, it's nice and bright, the background's a little bit darker, therefore I pop in the photo, or in the video, I should say. But lighting is key when it comes to taking the perfect selfie. Just a little comparison for you, this is what the light looks like when the window is behind me. I look extremely tired, that I'm really in dark shadows. It's not doing much for my skin, it's really not keeping attention because the focus isn't really on me, it's like focused on the bright window behind me. Number three is wardrobe. Like I said in the beginning, when you're planning out your shoot, where to take your photos, it's super important to keep in mind wardrobe. What do you want to portray in the photos? Where do you want the theme or the style or whatever you're going for, where do you want it to go? The other day I did a selfie series and I really wanted it to be very like reminiscent of the 70s/80s, so I brought in my bing grandpa glasses and I definitely made it happen. I really wanted a minimalistic feel to the photos. I wanted the focus to be on me, my hair, and the glasses. So I was really trying to make it kind of like boudoir style, but really kind of almost like a fashiony something or another. So it's super important to have kind of an idea down of what type of photo you want to take. So it's super important to have an idea down of kind of what you want it to look like. What if you want a theme to it, if you want it to be, you know, reminiscent of the 70s, if you want it to be more faux fur style, if you want it to be, I mean, whether it be a style of wardrobe that you're wanting to portray or a timeline, a time frame, or even minimalistic, so you can wear something solid colored so you don't have to wear patterns like I'm doing right now, but wear something that's all black, you know, some black jeans, a black top, and make sure that the background is not busy. If you want something minimalistic, find somewhere that's really just minimal. Keep in mind, colors for your wardrobe are super important too. Because I have red brick in the studio, I don't want to wear an all red outfit. It's not going to contrast well. I'm going to have a red and orange cast on me, which is going to be kind of not flattering. Unless you're going for that type of look. Keep in mind complementary colors. You don't want to, you know, have a bright green blanket on the bed for a boudoir shoot and then, you know, have a giant yellow chicken suit on. It's just not cute. She didn't have your bone structure. So keep in mind, wardrobe plays a huge role in how to master the selfie. If you want a certain look, definitely dress the part. Number four is angles. Angles are super important because it's easy to take a straight on photo. Everyone can do it. It's not hard, especially when we're holding a phone and we're like this. But it's really cool if you take these funky angles and get something that's visually interesting. For instance, there's a bunch of different things that you can do with angles. Just experiment. Put yourself to the left of the frame instead of dead in the center. Put yourself at an angle. Make sure the camera's lower. Do some funky things with it. Just mess with it. You'll find an angle that you really like, and remember that different doesn't mean bad. Okay, so this is what I mean by a normal selfie. It's fine. It is what it is. It's not a great selfie. It's just kind of boring. There's really nothing going on besides me just standing there. Now, if I want a really interesting selfie, what I can do, especially at arm's length, is do something funky with angles. And I can kind of go This one I shot directly upwards, my hand is above so it's creating interest, and I closed my eyes to create emotion. Another one that you can do with just your hand held and not do like a self timer is just do above. Now be careful with this, it can get cheesy really fast. You don't want to go like this, okay? That makes your head really big, your feet really small, and it just is out of proportion. You don't want to do that. But do a slightly above angle, so kind of like this. Okay, so that's a really good one. I put my hand in my hair for interest. I was staring directly at the camera, and it was only a slightly above, so it's not completely distorted. Okay, now let's talk about posing. But first, let me change. Much better! Okay, so posing is another really important one because obviously if you're just standing or sitting here like this is not fun or interesting or visually appealing. So therefore, I'm wearing just a plain dress. I wanted it to be a little bit minimalistic in my outfit, but I wanted a busy background, which is kind of like my studio. So there's a couple things you want to remember, especially with posing, that's going to help you improve your selfies drastically. A couple things you need to know. The closest thing to the camera is the largest thing that will appear in camera. So a few things. With this sitting pose, there was a couple things that I wanted to point out that could flatter me more. Obviously this dress is a little bit baggy, so it's not flattering to my shape or anything like that right now. But if I do a couple things such as pull up the side a little bit so you show a little bit of leg, okay? Now of course you don't have to like show skin every time you're doing this. Okay, so a couple things. You always want to point your toes. Ding! Always want to point your toes. If you don't point your If you don't point your toes, it just looks like this, and that's just weird. You always want to sit up straight, unless you're going for a slouchy look, which is, of course, you could totally do something like that. Okay, so what you want to do is create length in your legs first, okay? So this just kind of looks baggy and blah. What you want to do is you're going to want to lift, especially if you're wearing a dress, you want to show your legs. So I'm going to lift my dress up so I can show my legs. You want to put 1 foot back behind and 1 foot forward, okay? Now don't do this, this looks weird. Keep it bent, but keep it a little bit longer, okay? All you're going to want to do is make sure you're pointing those toes, because this just doesn't look good, it looks sloppy. You want to point your toes, get a nice arch in your back, push your shoulders back, and you want to do your pose, okay? Now whether that be, you can do it whatever way you want. At this point, it's just figuring out where you want your arms and stuff like that, but as long as your legs are in this angle, then you're golden. Okay, so super important when it comes to your face, okay? So posing your body is one thing, but posing your face is another. So what I always tell my clients to do when I'm shooting their boudoir session is to always breathe through their mouth so it creates a relaxed look. You never want to be tense in the mouth. You never want to do that. So for this one, I've chosen kind of a minimalistic background. I really wanted to show off the facial poses and what you can do with your face in order to relax a little bit more and not look like you're straining. So something super important, you always want to breathe through your mouth, okay? So for instance, you can be really clenched and you can kind of close your mouth and do this. Or you can breathe through your mouth. That's going to create a little bit more of an emotion in a photo and maybe not look like you're stressing out so much. Okay, another thing is your chin. You never want to do this with your chin. I want to see your face. I don't want you to be, giving yourself some weird, morphing nose into mouth type of thing. So for instance, if you do this, my nose is morphing into my mouth and you can't even see my mouth. But if I lift my chin up, you can see my entire face and everything is golden and dandy. So when it comes to your chin, the golden rule is out and down. I know it sounds weird and it's gonna feel weird too, but ready? So normal, out, and down, okay? The only reason it looks funky right now is because of the angle I'm at, but if I did this, it looks a lot better when my shoulders are pushed back, my chin is out and down. Next, what you're gonna wanna do is create a visual interest with your body. So you wanna arch. Arching is huge in posing because if you're slouching like this is not flattering, okay? So what you wanna do is you're gonna wanna push your butt out, chest forward, and bend a leg. So something super important, and this is like the photo, I'm gonna pop up right here. This is the one that I took just now. I'm really in love with it because I pulled up the leg here. I made the visually interesting leg kind of helping with the background and all that good stuff. So I put my leg up on its toe, pushed my butt out, hand in hair. Last but not least, it's really nice if you're at a 45-degree angle. So you want to kind of do this. And you want to focus on creating negative space within your photo. So what that means is you never want your arm plastered up against you like this because it's going to make you look wider than you actually are. You always want to kind of create this triangle, something like that. within your arm to create this negative space. That way your arm is not plastered to your body and you're looking like you have this negative space in between. It's just visually pleasing for the eye. So then you want to make sure you're at a 45-degree angle, you have the visual negative space, and then you have something going on with your other hand, whether that be on your shoulder or your hair or above you. Anything you want, just don't do this. That's not good. Unless you're holding a dress and kind of bringing it up like this, that's good, you can do that. You can bring your shoulder in, you can do a lot of stuff with this, but making sure you have that negative space is super important. So I'm putting my hand here on my hip, I'm making sure I have that negative space, and I'm gonna put my hand in my hair. That right there is good. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways that you can take your selfie. So we haven't talked a lot about how to actually take it. So you can do the typical arm's length and kind of do something like this, which is totally fine. And it's okay if you get some of your arm in it, even though it's not as flattering. So I prefer a self-timer, which is what I'm gonna show you now. So I'm gonna self-timer this, and I'm going to, it should be on every single phone. I don't have an iPhone, so personally, I don't know, but I know iPhones have self-timers. Okay, so you're gonna wanna go to self-timer. I like to set it for 5 seconds so I can kind of see my pose, get it all situated, and I'm all good. The only bummer about my phone, and I don't know about iPhones, but the only bummer is I can't take a selfie self-timer when it's facing me. So I have to kind of go in blindly a little bit. So I'm gonna spin my camera around here. I'm gonna set my timer for 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna set my phone up. So this is the fun part, is that I don't really know what I'm gonna get, but here we go. So I set my timer. So I got in my pose, I took my photo. Let's look at how it went. Oh, it's not that bad. Okay, so I'm gonna take another one, and this time I'm gonna give myself a little bit more time to get situated. I really like this funky angle that I've got going on. You can find an easy, just find a chair. That's the best way to do it. Find a chair, a window ledge, anything that will prop your phone up, and this is gonna help. I kind of like the angle that it's at, so I'm gonna keep it kind of at this downward angle so it's kind of coming up, and I'm gonna kind of mess with that with my pose. So here we go again. So 5 seconds. Okay, so let's see how that one turned out. I love that one. Okay, so that's beautiful. Okay, let's try it one more time. So I'm setting my timer again. This time I look directly at the camera, so let's see how that turned out. Okay, so I don't love my face in this, you guys, so I even take shitty selfies sometimes. You have to experiment. So I don't love that one. It's actually okay, I don't mind it, but let me try a different pose. Let's see. I actually love this one. Wow, okay, so even the weird funky angles could be really cool for this. Just a couple more tips to kind of get you started on your selfie path. Just remember that weird is good, okay? So just because not everyone is doing that angle or in that location, or they see an ugly location but you see its potential, ugly locations can be awesome, you guys. So don't look at it and be like, ew, that's gross. Even, honestly, even if it's like a pile of trash, it could be really cool. Go get yourself in a jeans jumper and, you know, put your hair up in a bandana and do a really kind of cool take on like a fashiony trash shoot. That would be awesome, right? So just keep in mind that weird doesn't always equal bad, so embrace the weird. Another tip for you is props. Okay, so it's really funny because in my boudoir sessions, I actually recommend going against props, not getting props. But when it comes to selfies or fashion or anything like that, props are really cool. For instance, the other day, I'm gonna pop it up one more time because I love it so much, but my 70s shoot with my grandpa glasses, my glasses were the props. So you can totally add some props into your shoot to kind of make it more visually interesting and kind of to convey the message that you're trying to convey. Selfies are stories. Create a story with your selfie. Make it a movie scene. Make it tell your story. Show the pain, show the hard times. If you're in turmoil and you're crying and your makeup is smearing down your face, take a selfie. I know it's weird, but it's very therapeutic. I know I've done that before where I've taken a selfie when I'm not feeling so hot. I've taken selfies when I'm on my period and I'm having major cramps and it's just not pretty. When I'm in PJs and stuff like that. You guys, selfies aren't just pretty photos of ourselves. They tell our story, so tell yours. Another tip is to get 3 different ways of shooting the same photo. A close-up, a medium shot, and a wide angle. So a close-up is anywhere, you know, from chest to face and side crop. So you can do a major close-up, which I've done in this photo here, and then a medium shot, which is gonna be more of a half body type of shot. So cut off right here at the thigh and then go up to the head. A wide angle shot's kind of where I thrive. I love wide angles because you can get all the different angles. You can get a lot of negative space. You can go as far back as you want or as close as you want with still getting the full body. But mess around with it, have fun with it. And my last tip for the day, you guys, is stay patient. You're not gonna get this immediately. It's not gonna be like the best 17 selfies you've ever taken in your life, the first 17 shots. Okay, so be patient. This took me a really long time to master. The selfie is not easy. Thank you, truck. Another tip is with your phone, whether it be an iPhone or an Android, don't ever put yourself so far to the edge of the frame, okay? The reason for this is because all cell phones have a built-in wide-angle lens, okay? What that means is that it's going to distort you. So if you ever think you look funky in photos, that could be the reason why you're too close to the edge of the frame. Because what it does is that it's going to widen your face and distort it. So my head looks longer and wider. And that's why. So if you're ever curious, that's why. Make sure you're in the middle of the frame or you're far enough back to where you can be in a side part of the frame, but not all the way at the edge. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys go out and master your selfies. Please do me a favor in the comments below, let me know what you thought, and make sure you hit subscribe so we can be doing this every week. Also, I would love to see your selfies. So if you can either DM me, message me, email me, DM me your selfies, and I want to see what you've created after this video. All right guys, have a good one. I just realized after I made this video, I came home and I was like, crap, I really wanted to make a hashtag. So do me a favor, when you post your selfies, post them to Instagram and hashtag Alyssa Michelle Selfie Challenge. That way I can see your photos and see your selfies after you watch the video.